curious in a way. Like when I see somebody doing something, I go, I wonder what it's like to do that. So I give it a try. And sometimes, I'm not that great, but other things I am pretty good at. I guess that's what I'm known at, is somebody who does a lot of things. To me, it just feels like I'm bumbling around. But I guess musically, I'm pretty self-taught in everything. But you may have seen on our Facebook pages that David and I worked on an animated film of The House of the Seven Gables.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so happy that Ben Wiki asked me to write the music for it, because I've always wanted to write some music for a film. Because I guess it's the combination of music and images and stories really fascinate me. So being able to, I guess in this case, the biggest compliment I got, Ben at one time said, "You're approaching music like an actor." And I thought, oh yeah, I'm sort of acting with music. So the way these things overlap is really interesting to me. And drawing, I've illustrated some books. So when I first met with David Olson at Theater Work, I didn't know how to describe myself to him, so I took along some of my pictures and my drawings of little characters. And I said, I don't know if you're going to get this, but this is what my acting is like. And I showed him the drawings. And luckily he got that. I think he did. So, yeah, just the way things tie together is always really fascinating to me. To me, it's all one thing, kind of all under the heading of creativity, I guess.
Yeah.
And it can come out in different ways. So I'm always interested in people who are just creative and apply it in a lot of different ways, because it all comes out of the same mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it all kind of draws in that same field, acting, writing, music.
Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe what they have in common is stories underneath it. Like if you write a story, you're putting characters in there. The characters serve the story, but the story comes out of the characters. And if you apply music to it, it's still toward telling the story. In films or movies, it's photography, so you've got images there. There's kind of visual arts. So all that. And I'm also a counselor. I have a license in that. I went to graduate school to be a psychotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's part of, that's minds. I guess that's what it all comes down to, is human minds. And I used to say to the counseling students, well, since you're wanting to be a specialist in human minds and behavior, maybe you should go take some literature classes, because there's a whole storehouse of human experience. And I would go to the theater department and say to the theater people, well, if you want to be an actor, maybe you should go take some psychology classes to learn about people.
Yeah.
It always frustrated me that everyone was sort of in their own little world, but not interested in how the different worlds connect up.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's connected, like you said, into just this big world, It's all connected in a way.
Yeah, things aren't really separate in life, I don't think. People try to make things separate, but it's not. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, good. Well, two of us do anyway.
My last question is, what is and I know you touched on this a little bit, but do you have any other advice for people who want to be an actor? I think a couple. One's kind of practical and one's a little bit more idealistic. I think one big piece of advice that people don't hear enough is just be nice. That's true.
Because there are a lot of talented people out there, but they're kind of jerks, and who wants to work with them? So I so often hear one reason people keep getting work is, so-and-so is easy to work with. Yeah. Meaning they're professional and they come in they know their lines, they're prepared, they're not all about themselves and ego, they're there to serve the story and the director and to do what they're told, and they're reliable. And that counts for a lot, because if you have basically a really talented jerk and a not quite so talented, really nice person, I think they're going to go for the nice person.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time people are their own obstacles in getting in the way of their own success. And also, I just value being nice. I like nice people. I like them better than unnice people. And I think people, well, I guess this gets into my second, I don't even know that it's a bit of advice, but again, it comes from the director at theater work, David Olson. He used to have this saying, and so this really struck a chord in me, and I've sort of tried to carry it forward in my own creative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, the old showbiz thing that they always say, knock 'em dead before a performance. And he would say, no, don't knock 'em dead. There's too many people out there who are already dead. And we're just sort of inundated with all this mediocre and horrible stuff in life. And he used to say, knock 'em alive. Like, make them feel that people are bigger than they think they are. And we've got more inside of us, and we're more positive. So I always try to, in my stuff, try to lift people up, because so much in the world right now is sort of cynical, and that's so much of entertainment. I think humor is kind of being hip and sarcastic and ironic and put downs all the time. And it's all this negativity that's crushing people. And I always just want to try to remind people, to knock them alive. Really, just, you're bigger than this. You're better than this. Do something uplifting to bring out the best in people instead of cultivating the worst.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another kind of a bit of advice. But, don't try to be hip and cool and negative like so many people think. Try to do the really original thing and do something positive. And it doesn't have to be, sappy or saccharine or something like that, because part of real life is hard stuff too. But do something to cultivate people's spirit or soul or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, acting and life in general, you want to make people feel good, be positive.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's make people feel good about themselves. The world can only benefit from people being nice, and, life is hard enough as it is, so let's all try to lift each other up.
Yeah.
Instead of crushing each other down, let's bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
And so for me, that might be kind of advice to the younger people, is try that. Try going that path instead of the easier sort of hip, cool, trendy path.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, life is difficult as it is. Why make it more difficult,
Yeah, let's be nice to each other. Make it easier for each other.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Dixon, it's been a pleasure talking to you and hearing about your career and your advice. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been a pleasure for me too, Trey. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.
You too. And that was actor Mr. Jonathan David Dixon. Thank you very much for listening. And let's see. What else do we have? No more interviews this week. Join us May 3rd when I interview Miss Cheryl Felicia Rhodes, actor and acting coach. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you all.